This is the story of the disappearance of Shinya Matsuoka, one of Japan's top 3 unsolved missing person cases. Shinya Matsuoka was the second child born into an ordinary family living in Ibaraki, Japan. At the time of the incident, he was only 4 years old. In March 6, 1989, 34 years ago, the family visited a relative's house in Tokushima, which was more than 9 hours away by car. They attend the funeral of Shinya's grandmother, who had passed away suddenly. Being too young to understand death or the weight of grief, Shinya spent his time at the relative's house playing with his cousins, trying to ward off boredom. The morning after the funeral, just before breakfast, Shinya went out for a brief walk with his father, older sister, and cousins. After about 10 minutes of walking, they returned home. But Shinya, wanting to play more, refused to go inside. Children at that age can be quite stubborn. His father, giving in to his son's stubbornness, handed his youngest child to his wife and decided to continue walking with Shinya. However, when they stepped outside again, Shinya was gone. The 4-year-old, who had been standing outside the front door just 20 seconds earlier, had vanished. It's no exaggeration to say that Shinya vanished in the blink of an eye. In a mere 20 seconds, he was gone, without a trace, as if swallowed by the earth itself. His father initially thought Shinya might be hiding nearby, or had wandered onto the road out of a desire to keep playing. After all, 20 seconds isn't enough time for a child to get very far. Even if something bad had happened, it wouldn't have been enough time for a potential perpetrator to flee the scene. However, no trace of Shinya could be found around the house, and the stone steps leading up to the front door were 27 centimeters high. Too high for a small child to climb down quickly in just 20 seconds. After about an hour and a half of searching, at around 10 a.m., the family reported Shinya missing to the police. About 100 people conducted a search, but not a single clue was found. It was difficult to consider this an abduction, as there had been no suspicious individuals seen at the time. Shinya's disappearance was filled with baffling questions. The house where his family was staying at the time of the incident was situated at the very end of a mountain road, about 200 meters above sea level. Few cars or people ever passed by, and there were not many houses in the area either. Nearby residents testified that they hadn't seen anyone or any vehicles pass by. Abduction of Shinya didn't seem plausible either, as the only people who knew the family was staying at that house were the relatives and the family themselves. The next day, police organized 200 people to scour the mountain, suspecting that Shinya might be wandering, lost in the woods. At the same time, a recording device was installed in the relative's house where the family was staying. Despite the extensive efforts, nothing came of the search, and the days passed with a heavy, oppressive sense of dread. Time continued to slip away, and eventually the family had no choice but to return to their home in Ibaraki without any new leads. However, just one day before Shinya's family was set to return home, something strange happened. A phone call came in, a bizarre, unsettling call. The voice on the other end belonged to a woman, speaking with a Tokushima accent. She asked to speak with his wife. The family had been staying in Tokushima, so the accent was a striking detail. Though confused, Shinya's father passed the phone to his wife. The woman on the phone introduced herself as the mother of Nakahara Mariko, a girl who attended the same kindergarten as Shinya's older sister. She explained that the parents had collected condolence money and asked where it should be sent and when the family would be returning home. Shinya's mother mentioned they would be returning the next day and ended the call. But something felt wrong. For starters, why would a parent from the kindergarten back in Ibaraki be using a Tokushima accent? How could someone from the kindergarten know they were at a relative's house, let alone the phone number of the house? The woman had more intimate knowledge than any outsider should have. Disturbed by this, Shinya's mother called the kindergarten. The response she received was shocking. Not only had no one collected condolence money, but there was no student by the name of Nakahara Mariko at the kindergarten. But unfortunately, that strange woman never called again, and the bizarre phone call led to no further clues in the search for Shinya. The large-scale search continued for 3 months, but no trace of Shinya was ever found. Afterward, Shinya's father quit his job and started his own business, allowing him the flexibility to focus on searching for his son. He appeared on more than 50 TV programs, publicly sharing the family's home phone number in hopes of gathering information about possible sightings. His parents, though constantly overwhelmed by each new piece of information, clung to a sliver of hope. Then, in 2018, a man became embroiled in speculation that he might be the missing Shinya. This man appeared on The Public Search, a TV program aired by TBS, one of Japan's top 5 national broadcasters. The show was dedicated to finding missing persons or identifying individuals with amnesia based on live audience tips. This man had been found unconscious in a shopping mall restroom in Aichi in 2014. After regaining consciousness, it was discovered that he suffered from amnesia, and even a DNA test couldn't reveal his identity. As investigations continued, the man claimed that his name was Ryuta Wada and that he had been kidnapped when he was around 4 or 5 years old. He said he had been held captive for 17 years by a middle-aged man. After more than a year of planning, Wada had escaped in 2014 when the man was away. Because he had no memory of his life before the abduction, he had no way to verify his identity. Viewers quickly began to speculate that this man might be Shinya Matsuoka, who had vanished 29 years earlier. The possibility of solving such a long-standing mystery captured the attention of the entire nation. To add to the intrigue, the man's appearance bore a striking resemblance to Shinya as a child, and even more so to Shinya's father. The timelines and ages also seemed to align. As public pressure mounted, viewers and Shinya's parents urged the TV station to conduct a DNA test to finally reveal the truth. In response, the Tokushima police announced that they would carry out the DNA comparison. The nation waited with bated breath, caught in a mixture of anxiety and anticipation. However, when the DNA results were finally revealed, the truth was disappointing. There was no match. Ryuta Wada was not Shinya Matsuoka.
たんだなっていうことが確信持てましたし、本当にまた探す気持ちがさらに強くなりました。
In a bittersweet twist, Ryuta Wada was able to reunite with his own father, bringing some small relief amidst the ongoing mystery of Shinya's disappearance. Given the many unanswered questions surrounding Shinya's disappearance, numerous theories and speculations have emerged over the years. While the possibility of a spontaneous child abduction has been suggested, most believe it's unlikely because no ransom was ever demanded, and there were no traces or clues to indicate such a crime. Another prominent theory is that the mysterious woman who impersonated the mother of the fictional child Nakahara Mariko might be the culprit, whether it was an abduction driven by a desire for a child or for other unknown reasons. The truth remains elusive. During this time, there were also reports of a child resembling Shinya spotted at a port frequented by North Korean ships, leading to speculation that he might have been abducted and taken to North Korea. In fact, many Japanese citizens were abducted by North Korea in the 1970s and 80s. However, this theory also lacks credibility, as most of the individuals kidnapped by North Korea were at least teenagers, if not adults. The abductions were primarily for the purpose of training Japanese people to impersonate spies from other countries, making it unlikely that a 4-year-old would have been targeted. In Japan, there is a term for people who vanish without a trace under mysterious circumstances, KAMIKAKUSHI, meaning spirited away by the gods. According to Japanese folklore, KAMIKAKUSHI refers to people who wander into the realm of the gods and become lost there, or who are lured away by spirits or mythical creatures. Some have even suggested that Shinya's disappearance could be an instance of KAMIKAKUSHI. While this idea is more a reflection of how baffling the case is than a belief in the supernatural, it highlights the impossibility of explaining what happened in a rational way. Now, as an adult, where could Shinya be? We can only hope he is still alive. This is the story of the disappearance of Shinya Matsuoka, one of Japan's 3 greatest unsolved child disappearance cases, a mystery so strange that it might even be called a prank of the gods. This was Mystic Shadow,